Hello everyone, Happy New Year! It's Malia and I've been sitting for weeks on what my first video for 2023 should be. I thought maybe I could give you a yearly reset video, but TBH, I didn't really reset during the holidays. Maybe I could have done a 2022 goals reflection video, but I didn't make any goals in 2022. Or I could have at least given you a New Year's vlog, but in reality, I haven't even picked up my camera for the last half of December. Honestly, the holidays are always a weird time for me. It's a time to physically reset and relax, but the looming New Year always gets the best of me. I'm flooded with all these thoughts of, what should I do next? What should my next goal be? And I always ask myself, am I living the life I want? Am I working toward the goals I want to achieve? And am I becoming the person that I ultimately want to be? Honestly, just saying all of these thoughts out loud already makes me overwhelmed, but what I can do is reflect on 2022 and what it taught me. Because honestly, last year was probably one of the worst, but also the best years of my life so far. Oh my god. What did I just do? It's 3 a.m. If you remember in early February, I pretty much dropped everything and suddenly found myself in South Korea, ready to embark a 3-month solo trip. Unknowing to almost everyone except my friends back home, this was because I had just ended my 6-year relationship and decided it was time to heal and have my own eat, pray, love moment. Being in Korea alone was truly a unique and much needed experience. And you would think it would be easy to ignore all my problems while I was there, but trust me, just because you're in another country doesn't take away the heartbreak you may have. But even though I was feeling all the emotions for my breakup, I finally felt free. Free to do the things I've been dreaming of ever since I was little, free to live my life the way I want to, and ultimately free to just be me. I've never had a problem with being alone before, but this is a different type of alone. I was in a new country, could barely speak the language, and didn't have people like my friends and family to physically be there when I needed them. Sometimes I thought I was making a huge mistake and was in and out of my head, but the longer I stayed in Korea, the more I realized that that is exactly where I needed to be. And by the end of my trip, I met new friends from around the world, fell in love with Seoul, and I honestly fell in love with myself. When I got back home, it was non-stop go, go, go from there. Instead of being sad for missing Korea, I went to my second favorite place in the world, Coachella.
I said, hey, hey, do you feel the way that I do? I said, hey, hey, do you feel the way that I do? I said, hey, hey, do you feel the way that I do? I said, hey, do you feel the way that I do?
I had a blast seeing so many friends I had missed those past 3 months. And even though I had the time of my life, I remember still crying from all the emotions I had been suppressing. Seeing familiar faces and being at a festival I had once always went to with my ex had just sent me into a spiral at one point. It showed me that even though I was healing, those emotions are still there and I have to face them. But still, I made the most of it and had the time of my life. And if you thought going to Coachella 3 days after Korea was crazy, summer 22 was insane. I kept going to the office and was getting closer to my coworkers. We'd enjoy our office days of reaping the corporate benefits of free food and enjoying SF after hours. We got so close that we not only planned a wild-ass Vegas trip that will be one for the books, but I even went to Outside Lands with some of them where we partied it up even though half of our team had just gotten laid off that day. Honestly, that was a fever dream for all of us. Needless to say, my coworkers turned into some of my closest friends this year. I also took another trip to Hawaii, which was half solo, half with coworkers, and half with college friends. Ate way too good, broke my camera because a wave crashed over it, and got 10 times darker. I distracted myself even more with other Vegas trips for 4th of July weekend, which is 10 out of 10, fully recommend, and went to Palm Springs with my college friends where we melted away in 100-degree weather. I pretty much did anything and everything I could have done to not think about my problems. Honestly, I don't even know how I had time to breathe at one point.
I said, hey, hey, do you feel the way that I do? I said, hey, hey, do you feel the way that I do? I said, hey, hey,
And although things may have seemed fine from the outside, they definitely weren't. And I hit a standstill at one point. Around August, I stopped making videos, was sleeping in more, honestly felt kind of depressed, and more so like a zombie on most days, just carrying on and doing my business. Work started to be a lot due to company layoffs, which led to my workload increasing. I felt drained after most days, which led me to not even having the energy to watch Netflix or even think about editing a video. And honestly, I was even reconsidering my journey with YouTube because I started to plateau once I had left Korea. I was losing subscribers, my videos weren't performing, and it made me really question whether or not I should keep doing this. And to top it all off, I even entered the world of dating, meaning downloading Hinge and Tinder, which made me feel even worse about myself because, for lack of better words, boys give you nothing but grief. And it wasn't long until all my problems kept blowing up in my face. All the healing that I did in Korea felt as if it was for nothing because I let others dictate how I saw myself. I put others on a pedestal and let how they treated me equal my own self-worth. And I hated myself for that, for letting myself get back to square one. So what did I do next? I went back to Korea. Surprise, surprise, but I decided enough of America and all my problems. I'll just run away from them. So I found myself back in the country that helped me heal to once again heal, or at least get a grip of myself. And that's exactly what I did. It was a month full of taking time for myself, to enjoy Seoul with my friends, eat food I had missed so much, and to clear my head from all the negativity that was piling up. I felt at peace with myself and was ready to once again go home and tackle life head on. And by the end of the year, I was in a better headspace, but not necessarily still feeling the best. I tend to fall into an unhealthy cycle of unproductiveness and just having mundane days, leading to me hating that I'm wasting my life away. And as the new year approached, I was dreading it because it marked the end of an amazing but also crazy year, and what lied ahead was the unknown. I don't know what 2023 will bring me, to be honest, but part of me is hopeful. Because even though 2022 started out rough and continued to be rough here and there, I still allowed myself to enjoy it. I watered relationships that mattered to me, met new people who added value to my life, traveled to my heart's content, and simply allowed myself to be me. Hopefully I won't need to leave the country the next time I feel as if my life is falling apart, because I know that no matter what, I can count on myself at the end of the day. And even though sometimes I feel as if I'm falling behind from others or feel like I'm not making the most of my time, I recently read something that put things into a new perspective for me. Even if you feel you are falling behind, even if you are not where you thought you'd be, even if nothing turned out the way you thought it would, it does not mean you are not still growing. Real growth is not always just constant forward motion, it's also staying still. Growth is learning the hard lessons. Growth is deep breaths. Growth is stopping to reconsider where you're headed before you arrive there. Growth is letting yourself settle. It's letting yourself blossom. It's letting yourself see how much good is already in your life before you hunger for more. So thank you 2022 for showing me how good life can still be even in the face of change and sadness. Thank you for letting me rediscover who I am, for pushing me outside my comfort zone, and for finally being able to feel like myself again. Thank you for some crazy adventures, but also simple days. So even though I couldn't give you all the most helpful video to start off the year, what I can give you is this message. Take it from me, no matter what, everything will be okay. Things will turn out the way they're supposed to. And even if it doesn't seem like it, the best is still yet to come.